Habari Gani Tribe. So I have not recorded a fresh vlog in ages, and so this feels very foreign but very good to me, and I'm just really excited to connect back with you guys. As you guys can see, I have like an entire new aesthetic, which means that I am recording this video from my new location. And so I'm recording from my very new location of Accent Styles Boutique. And I don't want to say that I've been too busy to pick up my camera, because I haven't been. I've definitely been vlogging. I've definitely still been creating content. I just haven't been putting out content, as strange as that may sound. I think that if you're a content creator and you're tuning in, then you probably absolutely understand this concept of recording and taking lots of photos, but not posting. But I don't know, I have been extremely busy. There has been a lot of behind the scenes activities taking place, one being this very beautiful boutique. I would love to show you guys exactly how I created every single concept and how it was designed. And even, like, most importantly, like overcoming some fears of opening a new boutique. Okay, so for my tribe mates that have been rocking with me from the very beginning, from the beginning of time, when I first started my boutique with a table and with earrings, and then when I eventually graduated to necklaces and bracelets, for those of you guys that have been with me from the table days, for those of you guys that were rocking with me at 5508, when I want to say opened up with 300 or 400 square feet, like a very, very modest beginning, a very, very humble beginning, to the 1,300 square feet that I sit in today. There has been drastic changes, and with those changes came lots of fears. And so originally, that isn't the topic of today. I definitely planned on discussing a lot of other things, but I feel led to talk about the challenges and how I overcame them, and all of the support, right? Because there was an overwhelming amount of support, and that is definitely what kept me going daily. It's my tribe mates, it's my subscribers, they are my shoppers, my friends, my family, like my community, my tribe mates, the people that are rooting for me. You guys are the ones that made all of this possible. And so that originally wasn't the plan, but let's dive into that. And so before we get into all of the juicy details and all of the heartfelt conversations, I've never had to do this. Let's dive into our sponsor. So today's video is sponsored by Kay's Crafty Crafts. So Kay's Crafty Crafts specializes in tumblers and t-shirts and planners and all types of personalized merchandise. So if you have an item, a personal item, that you would like to add a bit of a twist or a spin on, definitely reach out to her. Use your promo code TRIBE and get 10% off. So let's get back on topic, like the root of this video. The video being the growth and the glow and everything that has been going on in my life as of recent. And so I was originally located for several years at, I even kind of like despise saying the name. I guess that I shouldn't despise saying the name. But originally I was located at 5508. It is a Black-owned hub in Tampa, Florida. And I was there for years. I was coasting off of its promises. And although I never really wanted to leave, a piece of me always wanted to leave. And so I was there for several years. And even though I was extremely comfortable, because my location was darn near free, a piece of me still pushed me daily to want to do more. Like, I was very comfortable. Like I said, the rent was almost free. And so a piece of me did not want to leave because of the convenience and because of the comfort, and because of the low overhead. But another piece of me was like, Angie, there's a bigger vision. There's so much more that is required of you, and you are not going to hit that mark. You are not going to reach that place unless you move on. And so it felt like a painful breakup. you know, like you want to leave, but you don't want to leave. You're so comfortable. You've known them for years. It's so hard to start over. But I had to. And there was event after event after event that would literally break my heart. Like there was a moment that would gut me. Like time after time after time. You know, like when you're in a relationship and you give someone chance after chance after chance. But within each chance, like you lose a piece of yourself. And so every time, right? Every time I would experience these things in business and in personal relationships with this location, a piece of me would die off. And I think I came to the realization, like, Angie, how many pieces can you lose and still be whole? And so with that being said, I happened to be driving down the street one day, and honestly, like in no hopes of a new location. The places that I had looked at originally online, I knew were out of budget. I knew I couldn't afford them. I knew that I did not have enough money in the bank for the places that I was looking at. But happened to be driving down the street one day and seen a for lease sign. And I thought to myself, like, I like the location, and I'm bad with direction. So the entire time that I was looking at this location, I never knew where I was located. And so I was like, it looks kind of decent. I think it might be affordable. Let's take a look. And so I literally, right, I wrote down the number. I called the number immediately, and no one picked up. To my convenience, right? No one picked up and allowed me to waste their time, because if I had spoke to anyone that day, it literally would have been a waste of time. Credit wasn't in position, money wasn't in position, timing was bad. Would not have been ready to move forward with any proposal that they offered. And so no one answered, no one allowed me to waste their time. And so maybe a few weeks later, I found myself every single day passing the location, peeping through the windows, Googling it online to see what it looked like inside, see what it could look like inside. And so when I looked, it was a straight row. It was an open space. The square footage said 1,300 square feet. That was all exciting to me. But my mind started to think a bit more and say, you know, Angie, the vision that you've seen, right? The vision that was placed in you said that you would have a packing room. It said that you would have an office. It said you would have a cyber area for tea. And so even though the location online didn't look like what I wanted it to be, I was still very curious about it. I found myself trying to look through the windows. I found myself driving through the parking lot. I found myself etching out where I would put certain pictures and where I would hang clothing. And I found myself daydreaming about something that I had never experienced before. And so fast forward 2 weeks, someone calls. They give me a call, and I very rarely answer numbers that I don't know. But a woman gives me a phone call, and she says, hi, it was brought to my attention that you gave us a phone call. You were probably looking in hopes to rent one of my locations. I wasn't able to answer, and now I'm available for time if you have questions or if you would like to see the place. Still with no money, ready to absolutely waste this woman's time. I schedule an appointment and I look at the location. So the woman is very jolly, she's very friendly yet assertive, and although she's very professional, she seems very artsy, she seems to be led by fate, she seems to be very kind-hearted, and so she unlocks the door. After wrestling with the keys for a bit, she gets the place open. And so as soon as I walk in, my mouth drops open. And so does hers. So her mouth drops open. She's like, oh my God, when did these walls appear? There's not supposed to be any walls in this building. I never approved this. It must have been done by the past tenant. And so my mouth is dropped and her mouth is dropped, but for two completely different reasons. She's shocked because the previous tenant has broken all of the rules. And my mouth is dropped because God has kept all of his promises. And so I walk in and there's a space for an office, there's a space for a tea room, and there's a space for packing. And so she shows me the white walls. She shows me the restroom, and I am in awe. Like literally mind blown. Not by its beauty, not by the space, but by his promises. And I'm like, God, this is it. This is the place. This is the place that you showed me in my dreams. This is the place that I'm supposed to be. And so I wanted to be downtown, or I wanted to be in Tampa Heights. Much to my surprise, this is close to downtown, and it is in Tampa Heights. And so I just remember, like, I don't even remember exactly why I wanted to be in the Heights. I think I wanted to be in the Heights because it was like the creme de la creme. It was supposed to be like the hot and happening spot, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that location. I wanted a place that was walkable with high foot traffic and that had a presence. And so this is the place. This is the place that I'm looking at. And so she tells me about the price, and although the price is kind of intimidating, I oblige. I'm like, yes, I want this space. Present me with the lease. I will sign it. I will move forward. Again, $0 in the bank. And so while we are having the conversation about me desiring to move forward, she's literally taking the key off the ring to hand to me. And I'm like, God, it can't be this easy. And I tell her, I'd like to move forward, but I'd like to do it professionally with a lease and with documents and with paperwork. And so I tell her to hold on to her key. I'd like to take a moment and just be patient. And so patience is a virtue. Nothing comes from moving too fast. And if it's for you, it's definitely for you, and nothing will block it. And so I can see that she's a bit taken, but she quickly agrees. I will get the paperwork together and I will send it over to you. And so I'm trying not to make this too long. And so fast forward a few days later, she sends me the lease. And so I confirm that I've received it. I check my bank account, and I'm still at $0.00. And I'm frustrated. I am frustrated. And so I won't lie, I was absolutely disappointed. I was frustrated. I'm like, what is going on? The online sales were not coming through. I hadn't been in my store. There was no sales going through. No one had signed up for the tour. There was no money coming in. And so I'm like, why? Why am I this close? Why am I this close and it feels so impossible? And so I literally, right? I didn't pray. I didn't cry. But I'm frustrated. My emotions are definitely something that are radiating from my body. Like, I know that God can feel this. And out of nowhere, I started to receive phone calls. I started to unlock monies that had been locked for ages. Like, money that had been locked up for over a year started to disperse. People that owed me started to give me money. My ex picked up the phone and said, don't I owe you $1,000? Like, why would he call me, number one? And then two, to say that you owe me money. So he literally picked up the phone and was like, don't I owe you $1,000? There were people that I had done some things for, and they owed me, and I forgot about it. And they called me and said, hey, check your Cash App. I just sent you a payment. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, una fanya nini buana. Like, what were you doing, God? Like, what have you been planning for me? Because clearly you have been busy. And so I'm excited. And I'm excited, and I'm in a place of disbelief. And the only thing that I can think to myself is like, Niwewe. Like, it is you, God. It is you that is allowing me to enter this place. And so I get my deposit together. I fill out my application. I do all of these things to prepare myself, and I'm moving in. And I cannot believe it. I literally go to her home. She didn't want to wait. I went to her home the same day. I turned in the documents. I got the keys. I gave her the money. And I was here. And my mind went into overdrive. And let me tell you, I literally feel like every single design, that has to be like a completely separate video. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But every single design was meaningful, was heartfelt, was purposeful. And every single day, like, I find myself romanticizing my business. Like, I get dressed up and I do my makeup and I do my hair and I put on my perfume and I am ready to start my day. Like, I love coming to work. I love being in my business. I love meeting new customers that turn into tribe mates. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. And so that is where I am. Like, I don't want to say that this road has been completely easy, because entering into a space where I actually have to pay rent was a bit overwhelming in the beginning. And so, you know, I put out a lot of money into designing the place and to creating it literally to be my dreams. Like, I feel like this is the manifestation of my prayers, and I say that consistently. And so being able to build my dream was very expensive. And so I needed to see the turnover rate happening quickly, and I wasn't able to see that. And so that was a bit sad in the beginning. And I really felt like I was going to, I don't want to say die because that's just dramatic. I felt like I was being buried. I felt like I was drowning. I was like, God, like, you bring me this far. You literally have me create every vision that has ever been in my head just for me to fail. Like, God, that can't be the vision that you have for me. It cannot be the vision that you have for Accent Styles Boutique. And so it's like when I am frustrated, what do? So I turned on the scripture. I began to go into my secret place, which is something that I hadn't done for a while. And typically I love inspirational pastors. I love T.D. Jakes. I love Sarah Jakes. I can't leave out my church family. I love Apostle Michelle Kelly. I love Pastor Jermaine Edmondson. And so this day in particular, I turned on T.D. Jakes. And so T.D. Jakes was preaching about how words can mean things. And the same thing, in the same way that we fear things that we speak. For example, the same way you're like, hey, don't get too close to the road or you're going to get hit. Or do not wear your wallet in your back pocket like that. Someone's going to grab it. And then lo and behold, someone grabs your wallet. Your money is stolen. All of the things that you said were going to happen. And so T.D. Jakes was preaching and saying that the same way that you can speak negative into your life is the same way that you can speak positive into your life. And he talked about the woman that grabbed the hem of his garment, Jesus' garment. He says that when the woman grabbed the hem of Jesus' garment, he said, someone touched me. And so the disciples' response was, we touched you. And Jesus said, no, someone touched me. And in that moment, like, I swear that I am not making this up. I swear, like, this is not going to become like some gung-ho Jesus channel, but like, I have to tell you about my experience because it was real. And so in that moment, I heard God say, like, you startled me. And I'm like, what? Did I hear what I think I just heard? And I hear God say it again, you startled me. And I'm like, how do you startle God? And so this is something that I've never experienced before. I literally have motion picture and examples playing in my head. I'm diving into like a part of the subconscious that I have never been into before. And so he tells me, he gives my niece and my nephew as my example. He's like, you know how when Otis calls you or when Chloe cries, you jump. He's like, when you call my name, I stop what I'm doing and I have to see about you. And I'm like, what? He's like, I have to see about you. I have to give you whatever you need. You know how like you pat a child, you make them stop crying, you soothe them. He's like, I have to see what you need and I have to soothe you. And I'm like, what? He's like, because I love you that much. And I'm like, wow. To hear those words, right? I knew it was not a figment of my imagination. And so I was overwhelmed with emotions. I was definitely like, had never been serenaded like that before. And so I hear God say, ask for what you want. And so I'm thinking like, rent is due. I'm grateful of the $20, $30 that people are dropping into Accent Styles, but rent is due, and rent is big. This is downtown rent. Like this rent, this rent is not a joke. This rent is not for play. And so like, I'm like, God, I make up a number. I need $1,000. And I don't know what made me say that. I probably should have asked for more, but I'm like, God, I need $1,000. And so I'm preparing myself. I'm heading to work. We were having Afro Power Hour, which was a huge success. Thank you guys. That actually turned up. So I'm preparing myself for Afro Power Hour, and the day is going well. I'm making tea, I'm making coffee, I'm making chai. I'm making all of the things that make a morning in Kenya beautiful. And so I'm making all of these things. And as things get prepared, the tables are set, the cups are placed out, everyone is roaming around, and people start to trickle in. And as people are starting to come in, I have my daughter in the tea area serving all of the different arrays of tea and coffee. I have my son passing out gift bags for the first 10 arrivals and assisting people with the parking lot. I have my boyfriend on the register, and I have myself just roaming around and being free-spirited and welcoming like my tribe as they enter. And so I completely forgot what I asked God for. But I remember being very occupied. I remember being very busy. And I remember people making sales and people drinking tea, and there was lots of laughter, and the whole store froze in my mind. Time paused. People stopped moving. And I hear God say, just like that. I'm like, just like what? Just like what, God? And so I don't know what made me ask, but I asked Travis, I said, how much have we made? And literally looked at the register. And within an hour of being open, $1,000 had been made. He's like, what else? And so I don't even know how I got on this topic exactly. I don't know how we ended up here, but we're here now. And so I just feel like in this season that I'm not being buried. I am being planted. And so I am really grateful. I'm thanking God for this beautiful place that I'm in. Not naturally, although the store is beautiful. I'm thanking Him for this place that He has put me in spiritually, that I feel very grounded. I feel very happy. I feel very at peace. I literally feel like I am activating, right? All of the powers that God has given me, all of the manifestation that He has allowed me to do, all of the things that He has allowed me to speak and for them to flourish. I am grateful for that. And so this is 2023. It is officially like the end of January. And I literally have done so much in this month, more than I probably have done any other year. And so within this year, right? Praise report. I never thought I was going to be one of those churchy people. And I'm probably still not going to be. But I just can't sleep. I cannot sleep on the gifts that God is granting for me. I can't deny that. And so let's just talk about the month of January. Let's talk about 2023. I have literally built and created the store of my dreams. I have literally left 400 square feet and entered 1,300 square feet. I went from walking all the way. I was sweet 30. Went from walking all the way in the back to walking all the way to the front to get to a restroom, to having a restroom inside of my boutique. So that's like the first miracle check. I had the opportunity to interview on ABC News, the opportunity to interview on 10 Tampa Bay News, and a paid speaking engagement to teach marketing for Business Bootstrap. And so I was also able to work with one of my favorite artists this year, which absolutely like blew my mind as well, because I literally had been looking at her photos a few times and was like, wow, this woman is absolutely gorgeous. She looks like no one I've ever seen before. I love her images. I love her concepts. I love her graphics. I would love, love, love to work with her. And so I was granted that chance. And so I will add some photos of her here. I'm looking forward to showing you guys like the finished work, the finished process. That might take a little minute, it might take a week or two. If you aren't, you definitely want to follow my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Facebook, because I'm probably more apt to post there first before I have the opportunity to post on YouTube. And so if you want to see that finished product, you want to see the photos, you want to receive the discount codes, definitely follow one of those pages. You can find me under Accent Styles Boutique. You can even find me under Angie Digante, although I'm not active on my personal page as much. But definitely working with her was a blessing. Her interaction was very genuine, very pure. I love that her and her mom challenged me to request God for the impossible. And I don't even know what made them say this. Like, they were like, ask God for the impossible. I had another woman come into my business and tell me like to ask God exactly for what I want, and the things that I think that can never be done, ask him for that because he wants to do it for me. And so I'm like, okay, God, I am here. I am yours, and I am ready. Like, I'm ready for whatever you have for me. Like, click, click, my seatbelt is on. I'm buckled up. I'm ready for this ride. Use me at your will. Use me at your way. And I think people that really, really know me know, like, right? They know this isn't an act. They know this is not an air. This is not a facade. I'm always extremely, extremely positive. I even have people ask me, like, are you always this positive? And yes, I am. I'm always this happy. I'm always this positive. I love that my life is essentially drama-free. But I will admit that my life has not been this Christ-grounded. And so, or I just say my life has not been this Christ-grounded in a while. And so I love that this place that I'm in, I love that I can publicly, right? I can publicly display my affection for Christ. And so, yeah, I am ready. I'm just going to leave you guys like sitting in this moment. I want to just sit in this moment. Let's take some time. I want you guys, like, where all of a sudden, where did this pastoral voice come from? But I want you guys to like definitely share the city and state that you're in. I would love for you guys to talk about the glory of God and how he has worked in your life, whether it be this week or last year. I would love to hear a praise report. So definitely share with me and let me know, like, how has his glory manifest in your life? So, I'm definitely sharing God in my own way. And people are like, Angie, what is your own way? It's definitely relaxed, with my t-shirt and my jeans and my Yeezys on, and with my Crafty K's cup filled with wine. That was his first miracle. That is how I decide to share the glory. And so definitely share with me. I'm going to leave you guys in this moment. I have lots and lots of work to do. But I just wanted to take the time out to share this moment with you guys. Peace, love, and lots of African culture. I love you guys. Naku Panda. Bye.